Hello friends, it's David here from Beyond the Kingdoms, and it's time for another Top 10 Tips video. Today, we're heading to my absolute favorite park, Disney's Hollywood Studios. I know that this park gets a lot of hate because there aren't enough attractions for everybody. But I'm a big movie buff, and I love the thrill rides, so this has always been the best park for me. And if you're one of these people who thinks that this park is not worth your time until Galaxy's Edge is open, I think you may be surprised. You can still have a full day at this park now with Toy Story Land open, a lineup of great shows, and Disney World's best thrill rides. And there are a few tips and tricks you should know before you embark on your Hollywood adventure. So today, I've got my top 10 tips on how to best enjoy a day at Disney's Hollywood Studios. First of all, Hollywood Studios is all about shows. Back when the park had shows open like Lights Motor Action, on top of longtime favorites like the Indiana Jones Stunt Show, I struggled to try and catch every show in the park in one day. And this was because each show had its own staggered list of performance times. There are less shows now in operation at Hollywood Studios, but that will soon change with offerings like Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy, which opens in early 2019. And fans of classic animated films still flock to shows like Beauty and the Beast and the Frozen Sing-Along. So my first tip is to have a plan when it comes to showtimes. If you're really going to enjoy everything that this park has to offer, then you've got to study showtimes just as much as FastPass strategies. Take the Frozen Sing-Along, for example. This show is immensely popular. I've never seen an empty seat in this theater. Luckily, the park offers plenty of opportunities to see this show because it usually has up to 12 performances a day from 9:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. But then, across Echo Lake, you have another popular show that has fewer showtimes. The Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular is another one of those shows that still draws in big crowds. This is a show that fills to capacity very easily. And I think that's because there are only 6 performances a day. And usually the last one is as early as 6 p.m. And the same goes for Beauty and the Beast down on Sunset Boulevard. So always have a general plan when it comes to showtimes and have a backup plan, just in case your desired showtime reaches capacity. Next up, we have Jedi training. There's no doubt that Hollywood Studios will always be the best park for a Star Wars fan. And younglings who want to experience the excitement of becoming a Jedi will no doubt want to experience the Jedi Training Academy, located just outside of Star Tours. So tip number 2 is to make sure you sign up for this interactive experience as early as you can. The sign-up process for this is quite simple. You cannot make reservations prior to visiting the park. Sign-ups only happen on a first-come, first-served basis on the day you're visiting the park. Therefore, you can't go to Hollywood Studios on a Tuesday to sign up for a performance on a Thursday. Now, recruits must be between 4 and 12 years old, and when you're registering, all the kids who want to participate must be present. The twist to this is that the sign-ups are not located by the stage or Star Tours. Instead, it is located near the Indiana Jones Outpost store. This is adjacent to the 50s Primetime Cafe. And sign-up begins when the park first opens. Now, before Toy Story Land opened, I would suggest to groups with kids who want to experience this to go directly to the sign-up first thing in the morning. That may not be your number one priority now that Slinky Dog Dash is open, especially if you couldn't score a FastPass for it. But I will still say that you should get to the sign-ups for Jedi training as early as you can, just so you can get a desired showtime that works with your FastPass schedule and dining reservations. And just like tip number 1, always check the My Disney Experience app for the show schedule on the day you're visiting. Tip number 3, make sure you meet characters that are only available at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Because this park is the smallest and has few attractions for really little ones, this park could be a day in your vacation that you dedicate to meeting characters. Like any park, you can always meet the Fab Five here at Hollywood Studios. One of my personal favorites is Red Carpet Dreams, where it's the only place you'll meet Mickey in his Sorcerer's Apprentice costume. But it's the rare characters only available here that I like to do in this park. For my really little ones, this is a great place to meet your favorite characters from Disney Junior. In fact, this is the only park to offer meet and greets with Sophia the First and Jake the Neverland Pirate. This is a great place to knock out a lineup of characters in one go with relatively short wait times. And across the way, you've got Star Wars Launch Bay, another fantastic place to meet several characters at once without big lines. This exhibit features meet and greets for Chewbacca, Kylo Ren, and BB-8. Any Star Wars fan will definitely want to make a stop here. And if you're a Disney Visa card holder, I've got a bonus for you. This is currently one of 2 places in Disney World where cardholders can enjoy their own private character experience. This is usually open from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And keep in mind that characters can change at any time. For the most up-to-date details on private card member photo spots, click the link in the description. And while we're on the subject of characters, let's look at tip number 4. Visit the Walt Disney Presents exhibition. This is located near the entrance of Toy Story Land. It is a fantastic break from the crowds and a must-do experience for Walt Disney history buffs. Inside the exhibit, you'll learn a little bit about Walt himself and his many achievements in film, theme parks, and more. This is also a great place to see some stunning miniature models up close. There's a mixture of existing attractions and upcoming additions to the parks. And I did say that this tip involved characters, so make sure you also meet Star-Lord and Groot here. Now, who knows how long these two will continue meeting guests? But this is another great character location because the wait times are usually only about 20 minutes. This meet and greet is usually offered between 9:30 a.m. and 8 p.m. But as always, check your times guide or the My Disney Experience app for the most up-to-date details. Now, shifting gears a bit, I want to mention another fun thing to do at Hollywood Studios because the park is so small. Shopping is something I always find time to do while visiting this park. There are plenty of big stores on Hollywood Boulevard and Sunset Boulevard, where you'll find almost all of your standard Disney souvenirs. Now, of course, I know that there are specialty stores in other parks, like Wind Traders, for example, in Pandora, where popular merchandise items are only sold. But Hollywood Studios is good for the run-of-the-mill merchandise that can be found at all of the parks. World of Disney at Disney Springs is perhaps the best one-stop shop for everything, but I find it to be overwhelming with crowds and out of the way of my normal vacation plans. The same principle goes for the Emporium at Magic Kingdom and Mouse Gear at Epcot. They get way too crowded for me at the end of the day. So if you've got a busy week planned at Disney World, make your Hollywood Studios day the time to do some easy retail therapy. Okay, next let's talk about food. I'll admit, Hollywood Studios is not the best park when it comes to dining. But there are a few hidden gems here and there that will make up for that. So tip number 6 is to visit some lounges attached to restaurants to enjoy a stress-free meal. This is specifically geared to couples visiting the parks without the children. My 2 go-to restaurants at this park are 50s Primetime and Hollywood Brown Derby. But I find that both locations can fill up quickly when it comes to reservations. And honestly, I like to keep my options open while visiting Hollywood Studios. It's usually my easy day of a Disney vacation, so I don't usually want to stress about dining reservations here. Thankfully, both of these locations offer a lounge that not only serves up great drinks, but also allows you to order off of the restaurant's full menu, making it a great way to experience a restaurant without the reservation. Alright, now let's look at attractions. Tip number 7, score big on Toy Story Mania. This attraction is a Hollywood Studios favorite. It's a ride that the entire family can enjoy, and now that Toy Story Land is fully open, this attraction's standby line has improved dramatically. However, it's no fun if you don't know how to score some big points. So, if you want to beat your family members, make sure you aim for the high, out-of-reach targets. Don't get distracted by the big targets right in the middle of the screen. Instead, look at the far-off corners for smaller targets worth more points. For example, in the first ham and eggs game, look for the fox on a little hen house at one of the bottom corners. He's worth a lot of points. On the Dino Darts game, aim for the long skinny balloons at the top of the volcano. They're worth 500 points each. And on the Army Men plate toss, keep your eyes peeled for jumping plates and the airplanes. These targets are sometimes worth 2,000 points each. Now my next tip is also in Toy Story Land. Make sure you visit this new expansion at night. Both Slinky Dog Dash and Alien Swirling Saucers are fantastic to ride after the sun goes down. All the colorful lights and wonderful music make this land even better in the evening hours. And it also helps that this is the best time to ride the new attractions because they have shorter wait times. For more tips on Toy Story Land, check out this video. In it, I provide some great tips on how to best experience this new land at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Okay, we're at the home stretch now, so it's time to look at nighttime spectaculars. Like I said at the top of this video, Hollywood Studios is all about shows. And believe it or not, this park currently offers the most amount of nighttime spectaculars. That's mainly because Magic Kingdom is still not running a nighttime parade. Hollywood Studios has my favorite projection show, a fireworks display, and another Disney Parks classic, Fantasmic. And since various showtimes can make it difficult to see them all, you want to make sure you have a plan and know all of your options. So let's first look at Fantasmic. Before you go to the park, check to see if there are multiple performances on the day you're visiting. At busier points in the year, Fantasmic will usually have 2 performances. If this is the case of when you're traveling, go to the second showing. It's usually less crowded. Secondly, like I recently mentioned in my Hollywood Studios FastPass Strategies video, this could be a good place to make a FastPass reservation, especially if you're traveling with really little ones and skipping the big thrill rides. Finally, always consider a dining package for Fantasmic, especially if you're already planning to dine at one of the participating restaurants. Currently, Mama Melrose, Hollywood and Vine, and the Brown Derby are the only locations offering a dining package, the third being the best restaurant of the 3. And if these restaurants are not in your plans, there's always the Fantasmic VIP viewing experience, which is almost like a budget version of the dessert parties. Either way, there are plenty of ways to make sure that you catch this nighttime spectacular. And now we are at top tip number 10, and that is to make sure you grab a good viewing spot for Star Wars: A Galactic Spectacular. And scoring a good viewing spot is tricky. It has nothing to do with crowds. Because of the current construction taking place on Galaxy's Edge at the very back of the park, Disney only shoots off fireworks to the right of the Chinese theater when you're looking onto the show. And because there are some really big trees around the hub, viewing the show halfway down Hollywood Boulevard means that you may miss the fireworks entirely. So, my favorite spot to watch this show is right in the middle of the hub. Cast members usually tape off a lane right in the middle of the courtyard. This allows traffic flow to cross the hub even while the show is going on. Now you can't stop in this lane, you've always got to keep moving. So I like to position myself directly in front of this lane, which is really the back half of the front crowd. This always allows me to see all the different projections and the skewed off fireworks. And like Fantasmic, there's an additional way that you can score your viewing spot. You can always attend the Star Wars dessert party, which takes place inside Launch Bay, but includes a reserved viewing area for the fireworks in the park's hub. So there you have it, my friends, my top 10 tips to make the most of your day at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Don't be fooled by this park. Many falsely claim it to be a half-day park, but I think it really isn't. There's still a good amount of activities to enjoy, and it will soon get even better when all the additions are complete. But that will have to do it for today. And until next time, remember, if you can dream it, you can do it.